Okay, now we are going into our live presentation, live demo, okay? We have Jordan in front who is setting it up now. Let's take a look at the screen. Now, the first thing that we want to look at is the 605 router, okay? Standalone mode, okay? Without the controller, okay? Enough. Okay, so let's take a look at the router standalone. That means just based on IP number without the controller. Okay, we will see how we set it up. And we will be setting up with one single WAN first. Okay, so as usual, you go in, you need to put in admin and then change the password. Okay, because now all the new regulation will force you to change your password. Then subsequently followed by, you can use the quick connect. Quick setup, sorry, not quick connect. Quick setup. Okay, too much synology. Okay, so you have your quick setup. All right, you select your WAN. Okay, your WAN is that you have option for option for dynamic IP, static IP, PPOE, L2TP, and PPTP. Okay, so if you want to VPN out to another server to do your OF, then you just go ahead. Or else you use your dynamic IP. Okay, then you click next. All right, so in our present situation, we are using dynamic IP. You will double check to make sure your WAN connection activity is alive. All right, as usual, everything is GUI. You have graphic user interface interaction, no command line. Okay, you will only go command line for this router unless the firmware dies. Then you need to SSH in to pump in the firmware. Okay. Or else, then right now, you see very simple, very fast. He has already obtained an IP number from another router. We are double NATing from LTE. All right. So right now, our default IP is .0.1. Okay, .0.1 based on a single router. Okay. Now, the next thing that we want to add is we're going to add the second WAN very, very quickly because right now 11:36 already. So now we want to add the second WAN. We go to network, okay? Then we go to WAN. Then you select to convert that LAN 1 to your second WAN. Enable, save, plug in the cable. Okay? Plug in the cable, then you will detect your second WAN connectivity. All right. I am not at load balancing yet. I'm not talking about that yet. I'm talking about the physical connection first. We must show and demonstrate that it works first. Okay? So right now, what is going to happen is when you do that is the router will restart. Okay? When the router restart, how long does it take? It takes about 3 minutes. Okay, so 你会冷场3分钟 unless you're pre-staging at home at your office first. If you're doing it in front of a customer, then you step back at your customer for 3 minutes. Hello, hi, how are you? 今天吃饭了，吃饱了哈。Okay, so 3 minutes once you restart. All right, so remember that. Don't call me and say, hey, Jason, why 2.5 minutes already still haven't come up? Okay, I'll tell you wait another 5 minutes. All right, so just be prepared. This router or TP-Link routers on usual, you take about 3 minutes whenever you do a major setting. Okay, this is what we call a major setting. Okay? Right, so far any questions? Everybody got their order form, so I'm now spending my 3 minutes. Okay? So everybody got your order form already? Make sure you all order. Don't order one, don't trade your numbers away. Don't trade your numbers away. I will know, okay? Okay? All right, so now once it's done already, then you will log back in and let's take a look and see what's happening, okay? Where is our two WANs? All right. Okay, so you take another minute. All right, so that's why I say take 5 minutes. That's why I say I have Jordan here to help me. Okay, how was the food? Everything okay, right? Next round, when we come and gather again, let me know if you have any preference for food. And I promise you, I will call you all earlier. And I will promise you all to tell you all what I will be talking about, but I cannot say too much information in my EDM. But definitely 是好料的. Okay, because you all know I have access to ISP, I have access to vendor, I have access to many different brands. Okay, so I have information coming in from many places. Okay, so that's the thing. 頭家要好啊
Once
Another 3 more minutes.
since the LED flash will.
Okay. So you got to see the physical characteristic of the router. All right. Okay. So this is the 605. If you are playing it with the 7212, it will be the same also. Okay. Even if you are doing it with the 8411. All right. So now, earlier I have a question that was raised by our fellow comrade or colleague. Now, if I have 10G connectivity coming in, right? So how do I go down next? Then, of course, naturally, my answer back to you will be SFP plus down to another switch that can handle 10G. Okay. Now, this fella can do dual 10G. And not only that, it can also do a LTE modem backup. Okay, but must be limited to the USB key, the USB modem lah. There will be a list. Huh? Don't need. There will be a list, either Huawei or ZTE lah, as usual. Okay, there will be a list. Okay, you can get the list from the website. If you don't have, call TP-Link, they will give it to you. Okay, so there will be a list of modems. But as usual, you know those thumb modems. The disadvantage is once it heats up, it slows down or just doesn't move. Okay, so as usual, we take note of that. Okay, or else then that's something that you take care of for the 8411. Okay. From the.
Is that dongle able to monitor from the setup?
With cloud or with standalone?
Either way.
With cloud can lah. You can see as the status here lah. You'll be part of your status here whether it has connectivity or not. But you see those USB LTE modems, right? It will still maintain the IP number. But is it transmitting or not?
No, because we need to know whether the menu fails, whether the mobile in and whether it's active. Because it's active, it's using the mobile data. So we need to monitor that. So at least we know when that trigger can set alarm to our NOC, for example, then to inform the customer we are running down.
I think that can be set in the sense that once it fails to the LTE, right? You want to send a notification. That one have to see you can set a notification. Okay, another way is you throttle the speed.
Under the controller, yes, there will be a lock. That when it's down or when you want it down. But it can trigger email alert. Yes. You can.
Okay, so now we already done the dual WAN. Okay, now the next thing is I'm going to move over to the cloud. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to move this router to add on to the cloud controller, which is the OC3200 here. Okay, we will be using Jordan's TP-Link account to add this controller into his account. All right, so this is a live demonstration. It's a live because we already have an internet connection. Right, so the next thing is you have to go into the controller. Okay, so we know the IP number of the controller. Okay, which is .0.101. It's from the 605, the router. Okay, through the switch. Okay, it's from the DHCP through the 8-port switch that we have up front here, which is part of your package that you're eligible to buy. Okay, the 8-port switch that is inside the package is a half power one. It's not half power 2, it's half power 1. So that means it's not 150 watts. It's only 52 watts. 58 watts. I keep confusing the numbers. Okay, it's only 58 watts. So that means 4 ports have PoE, 4 ports no PoE. Okay? So as usual, the controller to start up, it takes 3 to 5 minutes or so. So take note of that. If you are doing it in front of customers, roughly you got to set aside the amount of time that you need. Okay. We are talking about the physical hardware device itself. Okay? Not if you set up your own VM controller. Okay? Right. Other than that, another quick question that we have from the 7212, okay, which is also available for early purchase. Okay, there's a shipment coming in. All right, there are limited quantities available. All right, for those who purchase this week, okay, your quantity will be assured. Okay, your quantity will be guaranteed and assured. The later you buy, then you'll be subject to availability. All right. There are limited quantities coming in. Like I mentioned to you, this whole package, this whole router itself, costs less than $399 for your cost. Okay. You have a dual WAN router with 8-port PoE ready and 2 SFP. Controller is inside here. Now, this is the good and beautiful part of it. Now, the bad part about it, this controller can only take 10 APs. No, if you add another 8-port PoE switch, then how? Your switch also is considered. Yes, this is good for small setup. If you are selling to those BTOs, or you're selling to small homes, or you're selling to small offices, maybe they need only 2 APs, 2 IP cameras. Okay, this will be a very good solution. Why? Because at the same time, you can add your account and you can help them monitor it. If they have any problem, you can remote in and settle for them. No additional charge. No subscription to pay. No nothing. Okay? You can add yourself as an administrator. If you are managing for them, sell it as an MSP. You buy at $399, you can tell them, okay, for $69.90 a month, I manage everything for you.
How many administrator accounts can you create for?
No limit.
No limit.
Administrator account got limit meh? No limit eh? I will keep adding both IT. 5 accounts okay.
You can invite.
You can invite all people in. So like for example, if you buy from me, you hit issues, the next thing I'll tell you, hey, add my email, support@tgntech.net. Then I'll be invited in. I go in and take a look and see what's happening. You get it already? All right.
Can it be used external controller, or only can use the controller for the router for this model?
This model, the controller is inside here already, so you can't have your own VM. Cannot.
So only can support that with this model.
This one only 10 AP. How many switch? 2 switches, 10 APs. It's inside their website. Okay, we haven't printed out the data sheet because it's not complete yet. All right, 这个的那个 print out 你拿来吗？你放在 office 啊？ Okay, never mind. Later you can log in. Later I will show you the website for it. Okay, then we can go through. Okay, don't add this to the TP-Link subscription cloud controller. Don't add this to your own self-hosted controller also. Because inside got controller already. You can create your own virtual controller. Like I mentioned earlier, you can create your own software. You can run and then make money out of it. Okay, just make sure your virtual machine is big enough to handle all the APs and clients that you want to add in. I'm very sure many of you have your own servers running or your own Synology servers running. Install a Linux VM, download their software, load it in, get an IP number that you can use, open up the port number. That's it, you're in business already. Okay? All right. So let's talk about the Omada controller first, then later I will explain further on this. Okay, so what Jordan is doing right now is adding. 哎，你太快了。
Okay, I think wait.
要 back。这个走到多少去了？这走到garanti去了。Okay, 他这匹马跑得太快了。Okay, so now wait for him to restore back. Okay, what I want to show you is basically we are going to set up an environment here where we will have the controller added to his. Wait. We will have a controller added to his account. We will be using his account. So once you log in by the IP number, in this case it's the 101.0.101. You use the wizard. Okay, let's not complicate things. I'm not going to add any VLAN. I'm not going to do anything crazy. Also, we click on the wizard. We say let's start. Okay, so now we click and go next. Next thing is you name your controller. So if this is 19A Holland Road, name it as what it is, the location, or you have your own naming rule. You add it in. Okay, choose the country. All right, there's a reason for choosing the country. Okay, the time zone also similarly, because you want to sync the time zone for all your devices. All right, once that's done, choose an environment. Okay, if it's none of all these, you can customize your own also. All right, so in this case, then now we just choose an office environment, then we click next. Okay.
These are the device detected.
Then within the network, flat network, you don't come and give me different class B and VLAN and all that. We just based on flat network. It will detect whatever that is available for the Omada series. Non-Omada series, cannot see. Okay, it will not come out. All right. So now we have all full Omada devices with the IP number. What Jordan is going to do next is he's going to click on all 3 devices to be adopted to the OC200. Can you please click?慢慢来嘞。
Okay, this one is to select whether you want
back. Okay, selected already, then you go next. Okay, the next thing that he's going to ask you to do is you want to change any of the WAN settings. Read the English and follow. Okay, what is the main thing to take note here? Need the microphone?
In case you want to preset the, let's say for the load balancing, because by default it's only single WAN. So if you want to add load balancing, so at that point of time you just click it. That one is purely for when you're adopting the router. Only apply to the router. So the next one will be configure the Wi-Fi.
Okay, so we're going to create a Wi-Fi environment. We'll invite all of you, please try and join in because we're going to block Twitter. Okay, I will show you how this router is going to drop the packet. Like I mentioned earlier, within 3 steps, you can block URL filtering. Okay, so now let's create a network name. SMB 就够了，不要 spacing 什么都不要 ，SMB 就好了。Password is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, 8 numbers only 等一下还没那么快。Okay. So later you use your phone and then you join SMB and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay. No gas Wi-Fi. Okay, then click next.
This one is the setup of the.
This one is the setup of the controller's main administrator.
Sorry, how many access library?
Depending on the device, I got 4, got 8 ma.
Actually, total is 16, 8 for each band. So let's say if you smart roaming one, 8, then it's 8.
4个就够了啦，8个太多了。等一下啊，不要 next。Okay, what's the difference between this and this? Let me explain. This is where it goes to the controller, your cloud account. Okay, this is your local.
The device account is when you adopt a device into this controller, you provide this device name and account, the password into that particular device, so that in the future if you want to adopt that device, you must key in this password. It personalizes your device.
Understand?
Yeah.
Any question?
But this one very key because if you don't key in this, they will, by default, they will generate a random number. So if you don't know the random number, you want to adopt that, you have to do hard reset. Yeah, that's it.
You have SSH to the 605. The OC300, the OC200, I cannot say no, there is, but you won't have it. You can SSH to the 605. So indirectly, this is also your SSH username password. Okay. The reason why you need to have this is because the OC also needs to know what is the username password to go in. You get it already? So indirectly, this is going to be quote unquote your I won't say backup password, username password, but it's a main password for the device.
Local access.
In a way, local access. Yeah, in a way you can call it local access. Okay, but like I mentioned every time, don't lose your username password. Always remember. Like what Jordan has said, if you don't do this portion, then you'll come out a random password for you. Okay, next.
Here you can do the, this one you actually, if you have a TP-Link account, you can immediately key in here and you can buy this controller to your account. So let me do that. So this is our testing TP-Link account.
这个是 L 还是 T？
Next.
你要 log in and buy 吗？
So it's already fine.
So immediately you add it into your TP-Link account, okay, or whatever account that you have. All right. So you click accept the terms and condition, then click next. Okay. All right. Once that's done, it will show you first before you click finish. You have one router, one switch, and one AP. Got it? All right. Then you just click finish.
This one, after you set the password, any password to your controller, now you have to log in to your controller. So these are some introductory pages, so we just skip. Okay, the reason why we adopt field for the router is because just now we preset the password of the router. So you remember earlier we do the standalone setting, we key the password. So by default they use a default password any, but now this router is not any. So we can
retry.
We have to key in the password that we changed earlier. But if this router is right out of the box, you won't see this.
Okay, can we all try and see, you all can see the SMB SSID? There's internet access, so don't worry, you will not get disconnected. The password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, before we go on to the next portion, which is doing the URL filtering. Okay, so now to show you all where the URL filtering is, I'm going to go through very briefly. Okay.
Do the load balancing first.
You want to do the load balancing first?
Because haven't do the Huawei.
Okay. Okay, now because we adopted the router, so we have to redo the load balancing again. So it'll take another 3 minutes. Very quickly, what's going to happen is he has to go into the settings and then go to the wired networks. For the internet, he will enable the second WAN and already in already. So then apply lah.
So already.
Oh, done already.
So let me check. It's configured.
But need, okay, let's do the URL first. Okay, I'll explain the load balancing later. You go to settings, okay, on settings you click on network security. Under network security, like I mentioned earlier, you have ACL, you have URL filtering, attack defense, and firewall. So today let's do a very quick URL filtering. We can create new rule, click, and we name it Twitter, okay? And you can name your to deny, okay? And your source network, you can actually select quite a number. You can actually even include LAN grouping, you can even include VLANs. So certain VLANs will be blocked, but today we are just doing a very flat network. Then you can just click on the network and then we click on the URL. Okay, so we're going to block wildcard. So you can put star.twitter.star. Okay, and you click apply. All right, now if you use your phone, okay, to go Twitter, unless you are a regular Twitter user, or else your phone won't have Twitter caching, okay? You won't be able to access Twitter. It's as simple as that. All right, you will experience a drop of packets from Twitter by the router itself. Is there a number of limits to the number of rules? No, but the more rules you add, the slower the router will be, as usual, because it will use up all the resources. Okay, take note about this. All right, so now let's move on to the next portion is on the WAN load balancing. I will show you the configuration. I want to let you see the configuration. Can we go to the router?
Okay, let me double check the WAN, both WAN input, whether the line is out. Okay, online. This one's being down. After applying this, you may have to restart.
The load balancing portion here, okay, like I mentioned to you all, there's two, okay? It's only failover, which is they call it as link backup, okay? Now under link backup, if you enable, just click on it. It will show you, you can select which of the WAN as your primary. Doesn't mean that it's WAN 2, it can't be your primary. It's not that rigid. It's very flexible. You can select whichever WAN that you want to be your primary WAN and also whichever WAN that you want to be your backup WAN. Get it already? Okay? So it's very flexible in that sense. Then once that's done, okay, then you just click apply after you select. This is, you can only have either one. You can't have both. If you do it as link backup, that means failover, you cannot be ratio. If it's ratio, then it's ratio only. That's it. Okay? Ratio is based on 1:1 or however many, based on percentage. Okay? So it's weighted load balance and failover. That's all. Failover, if we do the ping test as it happens, you will drop 4 pings. As you fail over from one ISP to another ISP, you will experience 4 ping drops. 4 pings drop means what? All your line connections will drop. That means your call connection will drop. Your streaming of the video will basically stop. Then restore back again. Get it? Okay? So there's no seamless in terms of the WAN as it failovers. All right, so take note of that. It's not seamless. Okay, Halama?
Now the router is confirming the URL that we set earlier for the link backup.
Okay, while it's waiting for the router to boot up, anybody have any questions on the hardware that you've seen just now on the tables? Anybody have any questions on the IP camera? No questions? So everybody will buy one set of the IP camera. Yeah. I never give you the price for the IP camera. Okay. So, sorry? Free IP camera. Down there, you just take yourself. Okay? Take it. I don't know what you're going to do with it. Okay. So we're waiting for Jordan. What's my IP? What's my IP?
Currently, the main WAN is using the Singtel connection. Okay, for troubleshooting, sometimes we have to make sure from here the both WAN is online. Okay, then so now we can proceed with
the failover. Okay, can you run a command to ping Google? Ping 8.8.8. Okay, so right now we are on Singtel pinging 8.8.8, and he's going to remove the Singtel WAN. Okay. The failover WAN, I'm not telling you which ISP is going to be, so later when we check what's my IP, then we will see it come out. What I want you all to see is to see that the ping drops, okay? 百闻不如一见, okay? So I want you all to see as it happens, okay?
So now I'm going to remove WAN 1, so this one is a Singtel.
So WAN 1 is a Singtel, okay? And come back already. Okay, so you lose 4 pings.
Lost 4.
Okay, so you lose 4 pings as it jumps from one WAN to another WAN. All right, so let's check what's our IP number now. Okay, so it has already changed to become M1 already. All right, so confidently you know that that's how it works. All right, as you configure it, and you don't have to worry that it doesn't work. Any question? Yes, Joseph?
How does it monitor the uplink failure? That means if let's say the upstream is failing, you still have the interface connected, have the link here.
What do you mean upstream is failing?
That means maybe your fiber breaks, but your interface to the ONT is still connected. Some sort of hacking like this.
No, the heartbeat they will ping a DNS overseas. Yes, they will ping outside, of course.
So maybe configure some this heartbeat.
The heartbeat can.
Standalone can configure, but in the controller is by default is in the DNS.
You heard the question?
Yeah.
Okay, so Joseph's question is how does it monitor the heartbeat? If it's a standalone router, you can pre-configure where you want the heartbeat to ping. If it's under the controller, then no choice. You have to let it, as of now, by itself. Okay? Joe, that's a good question. Let me give you an IP cam for it.
Serious?
Yeah. Don't worry. 我说得到 Thank you very much. 等一下拍照啊，因为等一下要 audit 的 I need a serial number. Okay, so anyways, okay. Anybody ask any question, I will give you IP cap. Yes? Just to check only, not a question, right?
Router is embedded into the controller already. Let's say I want to change back to standalone. Is it possible without resetting the VPN router?
No. Unfortunately, once you remove from controller, it will be resetted.
So if let's say I deploy into the client side, if the client decide to change to standalone, in order to have those function, so I need to run to the side.
Yeah, you have to run down one side. Yeah, you run. Yeah. There's no zero touch provisioning.
Implementation that I don't need to reset the
The other way around is to do the cloud controller.
I need to reset, right? Then reset already, I don't have the access.
No, by default is once you remove from the controller, the device will reset.
Yes, correct. Then
So you have to, so sorry, you have to go sign up.
You still have to go on site.
Sorry, I think the question in system integrator's mind would be, let's say I do a setup in my office, and then I go over to customer. I want to transfer to the customer. So would all the settings get resetted?
yes, something like that.
Two of you ask same question, so you cut the IP cam into half. No, I'm saying that you cut the IP cam into half.
For the router,
徐先生你要 answer 啊？
Router is maybe for maybe I have one router.
他们两个问对的问题啊。
So I pre-configure in my office, and then I transfer to customer. But it cannot be all the settings gone.
no, one way is first you create a ticketing account for the customer.
Oh, so I have to create
Yes,
account for them first.
yes. Then you buy your controller to this account, and then you adopt everything. Then you go there, go to the site and just.
So there's no way I can transfer ownership of equipment between ticketing account.
Actually possible if you back up and then for hardware controller only. For hardware controller, both controller must have the same version.
Oh, okay.
Then when you back up the setting, you can actually flush it to a new controller, exactly the same setting, and then you deploy in your customer place.
So if customer wants ownership, we must create account in advance lah.
Yeah.
Because it cannot be transferred later lah.
Another way is for the hardware controller. You buy this account to a customer, a particular ticketing account. But at any time you can unbuy and then buy to as long as you don't reset your controller, you unbuy and then buy to another ticketing account. Let's say your customer account, then you just belong to.
The answer is yes. Thanks.
Okay, so the dual wang lobe failover already show you already. Okay, let's not talk about the weighted ratio because that one is very simple standard stuff. Has anybody managed to get into Twitter after coming into the SMB Wi-Fi? And or you got dropped by Twitter or nobody try? Did anybody try? You can log on to the SMB. Who try?
I tried.
Still can go
Yeah.
Hey, still can go Twitter
Because the rule is wrong.
The rule is wrong.
You put .Twitter.
Oh, he put out Twitter. Oh, he never
Twitter.
because there's nothing in front of
Yeah,
the
there's no
yeah. Okay, typo error. Sorry.